Yes, Monologue John. It can tell you what I do. This first one was from a bloke called Cliff Taylor, who I knew back in the 70s and 80s, but sadly he's no longer with us. It isn't autobiographical on his part, and it's a pre-DNA poem. She were nobbut a lass when she made a mistake. Despite all the warnings and fear, she would have got married for young Babby's sake. But boyfriend had other ideas. She were quite a bright lass with a fair stubborn streak, as strong-willed as any that's met. She made boyfriend pay her maintenance each week. That is, when he didn't forget. He'd sometimes default if he couldn't get a sub, because he wasn't the richest of men. But she put on her togs and she trot round to pub and demand her allowances then. As Babby grew older, she sent her instead. She went every week on same day, go round to their house and press buzzers, he said, and my father will give me my pay. Now, this weekly ritual went on for years, and everything turned out as planned. And never again did he get in arrears. His money was always at hand. The Babby grew into a fine, strapping lass. She went every week on the same day. One year, on her birthday, it now comes to pass that this Babby has now come of age. He says to the lass, I have now paid my debt, so the mun come no more to my place. Tell the mam this is the last that she'll get. Then stand back and look at her face. When little lass told her, she said, well, that's sad, but we'll very soon see you turns red. Now, thee go and tell him that he isn't the dad. And then thee watch his face instead. Right. A controversy. You are invited to try and think where this pub was. Remember, this was first written in the 1930s. I'll tell thee a tale of an old country pub which fancied itself up to gate. It had the word garage wrote on stable door and a petrol pump outside the gate. The George and the Dragon were name of the pub, and it stood in a spot wild and bleak where none of us seemed to be passing that way, except carrier's cart once a week. The carrier's cart were a sturdy old Ford, and the driver was known as Old Joe. He'd passed pub each week, but he'd never been in. Its name even he didn't know. One cold winter's night, about 1:45, he was driving home over the moor, and he'd just reached the pub when the engine stopped dead. I think it hadn't had home before. He lifted the bonnet and fiddled around and gave it a bit of a crank. When he looked at the petrol, he found what were wrong. There wasn't a drop in the tank. He'd 8 miles to go and was starting for rain, and he thought he was there for the night. And he saw the word garage wrote on stable door, and he said, Lizzie lass, we're all right. He went up to pub and he knocked on the door till a voice up above said, hello. It were publican's wife. She says, now what's to do? I've run out of petrol, said Joe. Said she, who are you? He said, Carrier Joe. Oh, that's who it is, she replied. I've been passing this pub for close on 10 years and there's never once set foot inside. A nice time of night to come knocking folk up, she continued, away with your truck. You best get your petrol where you buy your beer. You only come here when you're stuck. Said Joe, hey, I'll go if they'll sell me some fuel. I can't start my engine without. I'm willing to pay, but she told him to go where he'd get his fuel for naught. Think about it. Come, said Joe, conciliatory like, let bygones be bygones, and when I come round again I'll pop in. She said, oh, well, your petrol can wait until then. With these few remarks, she took it in head and slammed window two in his face. He took a look round, and for very first time, he noticed the name of the place. He picked up some pebbles he found in the road, and he threw them against window pane, and for very long lattice opened again, and out came the old girl again. What do you want? She inquired, and not you, Joe replied, for this treatment had fair raised his gorge. At St. George and Dragons, the name of the pub, and I'd just like a word now. With George! Council to talk about New Pennine Gap. To us it were not but a line on a map. It meant we were flitting in morning. Our Uncle Tom's farmland they're sweeping away, and chip shop on corner and chapel they say, in a bit there'll be naught left but bulldozers and clay, where we clattered to middle of the morning. We came to this house and this street when we wed. Our children were born here, old Frank and old Ted, and we hoped to be buried from here, but instead we're bound to be flitting in the morning. They offered us chance of an old people's flat, where you walk miles to shop and you can't keep a cat. And we said to each other, it's no one come to that, wherever we flit to in the morning. Oh, Frank didn't want us. Who's under her thumb? Who'd posh? Who'd for shame for his old dad and mum? But Ted, bless him, sent us a wire and said, come. So we're off to Australia in morning. South Street's in its patches of good and bad luck, and we're down waiting for stopping to see ourselves stuck and our grandyears together, all trodden in muck, when motorway comes some fine morning. So goodbye to Lancs and to old friends and true. It's a knack of a change and a long way to go, but you're never too old to do what you mun do. And that's why we're flitting in the morning. Who's on a travel theme as well, or not, as the case may be. I have looked it up on Google. It does actually exist. Whether it's got a railway line or not, I really don't know. It didn't show it. Oops. I started on a journey just about a week ago for the little town of Morrow in the state of Ohio. I never was a traveller and really didn't know that Morrow had been ridiculed a century or so. I went down to the depot for my ticket and applied for tips regarding Morrow, interviewed the station guide. Said I, my friend, I want to go tomorrow and return not later than tomorrow, because I haven't time to burn. Said he to me, now let me see if I have heard you right. You want to go to Morrow? and come back tomorrow night. You should have gone tomorrow, yesterday and back today, for if you'd started yesterday tomorrow, don't you see, you would have got tomorrow and returned today at 3. The train that started yesterday, now understand me right, today it gets tomorrow and comes back tomorrow night. Said I, my boy, it seems to me you're talking through your hat. Is there a town called Morrow on your line? Now tell me that. There is, said he, and take from me a quiet little tip. To go from here to Morrow is a 14-hour trip. The train that goes tomorrow leaves today, 8:35, 10:30 tomorrow is the time it should arrive. Now, if from here tomorrow is a 14-hour ride, can you go today, tomorrow, and come back today, he cried. Said I want to go tomorrow. Can I go today and get tomorrow by tonight if there is no delay? Well, said he, explain to me and I've no more to say. Can you go anywhere tomorrow and come back today? For if today you get tomorrow, surely you'll agree you should have started not today, but yesterday, you see. If you go tomorrow, leaving here today, you're flat. You won't get in tomorrow till the day that follows that. If you go tomorrow, you will surely land tomorrow in tomorrow, not today, you understand. For the train that goes tomorrow, if the schedule is right, will get you in tomorrow about tomorrow night. Said I guess you know it all, but kindly let me say, how can I get tomorrow if I leave the town today? He said, you cannot get tomorrow any more today, for the train that goes tomorrow is a mile upon its way. I was so disappointed. I could only wildly stare. The train had gone tomorrow and left me standing there. The man was writing, telling me I was a howling jay. I didn't go tomorrow, so I guess I'll go today.